Hello everybody, I'm TechReal, and welcome to another episode of Blues Clues News. Now, today we have, some minor news. We have, a set photo here, maybe an article or two, and, what was the last one? Oh yeah, a music video showing off the animation new host and new theme song of Blues Clues New. Small stuff. So yes, we do have some minor bits of news, but we also have the biggest piece of Blues Clues news to date, a just-released music video preview of the show, which shows off, like I said, the new theme song, which has been confirmed by the writer, and a bunch of other things that we're going to talk about, detail-wise and opinion-wise, so you have that to look forward to, but first we have a bit of a lightning round to get to. As I've mentioned, we do have some minor news. It's not very minor, it's actually quite, big, but comparatively to the video, it's minor. But, instead of making an entire video dedicated to that, and then also an entire video dedicated to the music video, I thought I might as well just get through all this news very quickly, as fast as I can, and then we can talk about the big enchilada, if you will. I don't know why I called it that, but, hey look, a lightning round, let's get started. Starting off, we have a seemingly innocent picture from Josh Dela Cruz, which actually, if you zoom in, shows off on his computer, or tablet, or whatever that is, a file named Storytime with Blue and You. Now, this can either be the title of an episode, and possibly the theme of all episode titles, ending with Blue and You, or maybe it's some other thing, because I like the idea of it ending all with Blue and You, but I feel like that might not be able to work with every single episode title, so maybe that means that this isn't an episode title and it's some sort of app or game or something to that effect. Don't really know. Moving on, we have two photos from set, one being this green screen area with all the camera equipment and a weird creepy face. And if you thought that one was creepy, here's one that's even creepier. Oh, what do you even say to this? How is this in a children's show? Like really? Up next, we have some new promo art for the show. And following that is a confirmation in an article that Josh, the new host of Blues Clues New, will be the cousin of Steve and Joe. And last, but certainly not least, we have this photo that was taken during a Consumer Products Partner Summit, whatever the hell that is. And in the background, you can see this big picture of the whole outside of the house of Blues Clues and New, the details and changes of which I will be discussing once we get into the music video. And before we do so, I'd just like to take a quick second and thank all the amazing people over on the Blues Clues News server. You guys are so awesome and really good at finding news, like really good. You are the reason why I have this much news and the reason that this show can continue as strong as it does, so thank you guys, you're awesome and I love you. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, let us talk about the music video itself. I am excited.
Hi, it's me, Josh, and this is my puppy Blue.
So right off the bat, we have three different things to talk about with this one very small segment. For one, he introduces himself as Josh, which makes sense as his name in real life is Josh Dela Cruz, but it's weird because I've heard the rumors that his name, or the name of any host that was going to be on the show, was going to be named Nick or Nikki, and I'm wondering why that isn't the case, and I'm thinking either he's introducing himself as the actor right now, or he's just introducing himself as Josh and they decided to go with his real name. I'm gonna go with the latter and just continue to call him Josh. I just felt like that was something that was worth pointing out. Next up, we have confirmation of the fact that he will be wearing a blue striped shirt in the series, as theorized in the previous episode of Blues Clues News. And yeah, it looks very fitting. It's kind of Steve-ish, but it's kind of not, because the color, obviously. And the fact that it doesn't have a collar, so it's like this sort of weird cross between Steve and Joe's shirts. So, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about that. It looks good, and it fits him. So, yeah. And last, but certainly not least, we have our first look at Blue in action, and oh my god, she looks adorable! That's just a noise. That's not a thought, it's a noise. But it sums up everything I'm feeling, because oh my god, she looks adorable and soft and cuddly and three-dimensional, and her animation moves like into the Spider-Verse. I love it all. I love every single aspect of Blue in this whole thing. I mean, bar the fact that she looks a little bit different. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Her face just looks a little bit different, But that's to be expected. It's 3D. It still looks really good. It's just sort of taking some getting used to. And that's going to be sort of the theme of a lot of what I'm about to be talking about, because there are a lot of nitpicky things that I'm going to have to get used to. So, moving on. Next, we get our first shot at the outside of the house, and it's a lot to take in, because while it is pretty much the same, it's also incredibly different. The first thing that you're going to notice is that there's a lot of, texturing on everything. There's a lot of shading. There's a lot of detailing. You can see the roof is not just this sort of like weird clay, like triangle type roof. It now has this sort of like side bit with some overhang. The door itself has more detail. As you can see, it has some indents. The outside of the windows have this sort of like rim around it. It's like, I don't even know how to describe that. The pathway is brown now, sort of like this dirt path brown, as opposed to the original, like, I guess, like, sidewalk gray. Like, it all looks good. It's just very different, and it's, again, as I've just mentioned, it's gonna take some time to get used to. It's funny, because it looks the same. I remember I showed my dad this, and he saw it, and he was like, it looks exactly the same. And I was like, no, it doesn't. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It's a weird kind of mix of new and old. It's again, it's sort of like everything in this video. It's gonna be the same but different, and an adjustment to get used to. Anyways, we see the interior of the living room. A lot of it I've already talked about when I talked about the crew photo back in, episode 2 of Blue's Clues News. But, one minor difference is the fact that the window is freaking huge. The window has never been that, wide. And now it is. And mailbox is in the background, and that disgusts me. Minor nitpick, major nitpick I've always had with the show is that sometimes through the back window you see mailbox, indicating that might be the front of the house outside, but it's not. Because the front of the house is when you walk in. When you walk in, you see the living room as you open the door, so there's no way mailbox should be back there if he's in front of the house. And true, we didn't see him in the front of the house in this shot, but we saw him in the front of the house in the promotional image in the background of that Instagram post, so he has to be out there. It makes no sense, and I just want to know why they're doing this. It's such a minor nitpick. It's a kid's show. I shouldn't care, but it makes no sense. Anyways, let's continue. We next get our first look at the handy dandy notebook, the brand new handy dandy notebook that Josh was so excited about in that one clip. And it's interesting. It's different. And it's interesting. Let's pick it apart a bit. First thing you'll notice, or at least the first thing I noticed, is that it's weirdly long. Steve's notebook was square. Even Joe's notebook, while it was the shape of the thinking chair, or at least a, rounded, stylized thinking chair, was sort of equal on all sides. It felt like it was just sort of an equal shape. I can't really describe it. It was just more square-ish. But this is a long rectangle, which I don't really see the purpose of. It reminds me of the order pad from that one episode, Cafe Blue. But I don't know. What the is that siren? They're coming to arrest me for picking apart the notebook. Anyways, it's long, and I don't really see the purpose of it being long outside of just being a weird design decision, but I don't see why they would make such a weird decision. Anyways, the next thing you'll notice is that it has blue stripes matching Josh's shirt, and it's definitely different. I find myself comparing it very much to Steve's notebook, and, I wonder why. It seems pretty modeled after Steve's notebook, but, it's a weird change, but I like it. It looks natural enough. I'm being very nitpicky. I think, again, as the theme of the video goes, it's something I'll have to get used to. But, I do like it. It doesn't look bad. It just looks a little strange. Additionally, and sort of adding to the strangeness factor, it looks thick. The back cover looks thick, and it doesn't seem to have many pages, at least from this angle. And as you can see, the one page is this orangish red, seemingly. But it looks thick, and I wonder why that is, and I sort of do have a bit of a theory, as mentioned before, that sort of coincides with the fact that it's long. I'm thinking there's still a chance that this might be some sort of tablet technology in this notebook. Between the shape of it, which seems almost like a smartphone tablet-ish shape, the thickness and almost like shiny plastic look of the back cover and front cover that, again, looks really thick, and the fact that Josh was so excited about this notebook, and I really feel like that wouldn't be just because of the design. He's sort of, the way he was talking about it, he indicated some really, really big change, and I feel like everyone would have already expected a change of the design. So I don't think that's what he's referring to. I think there's still something in this notebook that we don't know about yet. And, I think it could be some sort of digital technology, based on the things that I've already mentioned. So, it's possible. I'm not saying it's definitively that. It could just very well be the design that he was excited about, and it could be a traditional paper and crayon notebook like they've been saying, but I don't know. I doubt it. I slightly doubt it. But anyways, moving on. Next, we get a look at all the supporting characters. We have Tickety Tock, Slippery Soap, Shovel and Pail, and what I refer to as the Shaker family. Everyone looks fine. The Shaker family is where I have a little bit of problem. It's just, there are just some minor details that kind of bother me, and one that really bothers me. The texture of everyone looks different. Mrs. Pepper looks really strange. And her mouth seems very low, which I don't know. Again, it's a nitpick, but her mouth looks very low compared to where I feel it should be. The tops of them look kind of light compared to, again, what I think they should be, especially Paprika's. And Cinnamon has a backwards hat. His top is a backwards hat. And I don't know why. And it bothers me. Like, I don't know, it feels like they're just trying to make him look hip and cool with his backwards cap, like a cool kid, and I don't like that. Again, it's something I'll have to get used to. It's something I probably will get used to in time. It doesn't look bad, it's just that, like, it keeps me thinking in that mindset of they're trying too hard to be cool. And that might not be the case. I'm sure they just sort of maybe thought it was a cute design, etc., etc., It's just sort of giving me that vibe, and I don't like that vibe, and it just looks sort of unnecessary of an addition. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just backwards. It's not even a hat. It's his top, and it's was he born that way? I don't know. The last character introduced in that little lineup is Magenta, which is definitely strange. I mean, I've heard that she's going to be a bigger part of the series, and I guess this is how. And I wonder if this means that she's going to live with them? Live in the Blue's Clues house compared to before where she lived with Miranda, or later on just alone in her own house. But I wonder now if she's gonna live here, or if she's just gonna be a very recurring character that comes over or hangs out, at the Blue's Clues house. It really could go either way, and honestly, I would be happy with either decision. It's just something interesting that they decided to push Magenta for this series a lot more, which is especially strange to me because she's always kind of felt like the Blue's Clues just like off-color OC, because she's basically blue now. Not now. She's always basically been blue, just with a color change, and especially now because she lost her glasses, which is especially weird because that was like a big thing in the other series, and I wonder if now she has contacts or she got some sort of like LASIK surgery. I don't know. Or maybe they're starting new, but they can't be starting from scratch because Cinnamon's already born. I don't really know what's going on with Magenta. She poses a lot of, weird, not very big questions, but interesting questions, all the same. And then everyone's dancing and having a good time, and this might be a good time to mention the fact that the theme song, which I mentioned before, is the official coming up theme song of Blue's Clues and You. It's amazing. Like, it's absolutely the best theme song. This exceeded every one of my expectations for it. It's just so good. It's catchy. I've memorized every single lyric, and right now, my voice hurts because yesterday, I was singing it constantly. I can't even deal with how good this theme song is. And as you can see, everyone's dancing, which seems a bit weird. I don't know, one of my biggest problems with the animation, and actually, let me rephrase that. One of my only problems with the animation, from what I'm seeing so far, is that everything seems a bit too slow and smooth. Like, the movements don't feel very natural in this video, and I don't know if that's going to carry over to the series itself, or I don't know if it's, you know, just how it is. I don't know. It just looks kind of strange, and again, say it with me, guys, it's something I'll have to get used to. But it's strange, and I'm not used to it yet, and maybe I'll get used to it, or maybe I won't have to. Either way, it's just something interesting of note. And speaking of dancing, guess who else is dancing? The Felt Friends, who are returning. And that's not all that's returning. Skidooing is also returning. That was a rough segue, but skidooing happens. Blue skidoos, and so does Josh, and it looks a bit different. For one, the way Josh skidoos is a bit different. It's a different sort of dance, and I think that might just be because of the video. He didn't want to throw the rhythm off, so he just did a quick little move, but even if it sort of carries over to the actual series, I don't hate it. It just looks a bit unnatural, but, you know, again, something I'll get used to. Again, the motto here. Additionally, there's some, you know, like, sparkly effects when they both skidoo, which, you know, let's say it again, something I'll get used to. But, again, it's different and kind of unnecessary almost. It just doesn't seem like it needs to be there, but again, I think it might be just for the video, but, you know, if it goes to the series, I won't be mad. Next up, they skidoo into what I like to call Nick Jr. promo world, because it's just a set with circles and stuff for them to dance on. And, this might be the best place for me to talk about Josh, because he's dancing, he's having a fun time, and I haven't mentioned this yet, and I can't believe I've gone this long without saying it. Josh is perfect for this job. He is absolutely the most perfect choice for host that I could ever dream of. He has energy. He seems to love what he's doing. He has the moves. He has the voice, because his singing voice is amazing. He's just bouncing around everywhere, and, you know, sometimes it gets, like, he looks almost a little too energetic, you know. He pulls off some interesting faces, but, you know, in comparison to, like, Season 1 Steve, I think he's actually pretty tame, so, yeah, but, honestly, this whole promo just proves to me that Josh is the ultimate perfect choice for host, and I am so excited to see him in action. But, anyways, let's move on to the final few details to talk about. The first of which being that he has a guitar, so I wonder if that's going to be sort of a thing that he does a lot in the series, playing guitar and stuff like that, or if that's just, again, you know, for this video. And also I like the little detail that there are the swirls on the guitar, just like there are on the roof and the thinking chair. It's a lot of swirls in this show, I've realized over time. And, in the same shot, you'll see that a lot of the characters, or specifically Side Table, the Shaker Family, and Mailbox, have a lot of, like, new texturing and lighting. Like, Side Table, you know, as I mentioned in the one of the earlier episodes of Blue's Clues News with the crew picture, is very wooden looking, but I've noticed I've gotten more and more used to that over time, just, you know, looking back at the picture. The Shaker Family, again, the coloring is a bit weird. Mr. Salt looks fine, the rest look a bit strange, and, you know, again, gonna have to get used to it. Slippery looks fine, Tickety looks pretty normal, Shovel and Pail, you know, same sort of deal, and then Mailbox looks very metallic compared to usual, and it's a bit, like, off-putting almost, and it's kind of weird because while he's very, like, metal-looking, his flag looks like it's made strictly out of clay. Like, not even plastic, it just looks like clay, which is strange. But overall, I love the designs of everyone, you know, Shaker Family aside, because they're gonna take some getting used to, but for the most part, I really like all the designs, even the Shaker Family, honestly. They don't look bad, they just look different. But, yeah, now moving on to the very final detail to talk about. At the end, Blue puts up her little paw and puts a clue on the screen, and you can see, again, this, like, sort of glittery, sparkly, magical effect. And again, like the skidoo, I wonder if that's going to carry over into the actual show, or if it's just a special little effect to put some oomph onto this video. Oomph is not, I don't know why I said that just seems weird. You know, to put some dazzle in this video, let's say. Anyway, I'm getting away from the point. I do wonder if that's going to carry on to the show, because again, it seems unnecessary to do so. I won't be necessarily mad if it happens, and I'll say it for the last time, because this is the last thing to talk about. If it happens, I'll have to get used to it, and I'm sure I will. But, it just seems like a weird detail, a weird unnecessary detail to add. So, I don't know. I don't really have any, I'd prefer it without it, I'll say. I won't hate it if it happens, but I'd really prefer if it didn't happen, just like with the Skidoo, because it just, I don't know, I feel like it's trying too hard almost, if that happened every single time. But, yeah, that's about where the video ends. Overall, this video, everything about it, other than the few nitpicks I had, are amazing. Despite any problems I've had, I am so utterly excited for this reboot. With more and more, every piece of news I've gotten, and I think I mentioned this before, every piece of news makes me feel a bit more secure in this reboot. At the beginning I was nervous and scared, and now I'm really excited. And this video only promotes that more, because now, seeing everything in action, seeing the animation, seeing Josh in action, even with the little nitpicks I have, I don't care, because it looks like it's gonna be great despite them. And I am over the moon. I am excited. I really cannot wait to get back into this, and I hope it's successful, and I'm pretty sure it will be. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say for this video, for all the news, and for this episode of Blue's Clues News. So, yeah, what do you guys think of all this? And let me know in the comments below. Are you excited as I am? Are you nervous? Do you have the same nitpicks I have? Do you have different nitpicks? I don't know. Let me know down there. So, that's about it for this episode of Blue's Clues News. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.